Okay, everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is a 1944 John Deere hand start. As you can see, no electric on it. So I went to start this winter. It was cold, 15-20 degrees out, and I grabbed that flywheel. Never even give it a thought, and I knew better, because in the past I've always taken my Bernzomatic out and had up the bottom of the oil pump, heat it up till you can feel it with your hands. It's warm. Start them, you'll never have a problem with them. But the gears were froze, had a little bit of frost in there, and the weak point failed. Does it instantly. I mean, as soon as you move that flywheel 4 inches out on the rim, 5 inches, you'll hear something go ding. You're done. Might as well stop. So anyway, this right here is what you break. This is an original. This is the replacement. John Deere's part number. There's 2 part numbers there. I don't know what they go by. B250R is like your parts book one. Then they got this other big number here. Not sure. Made in USA. It looks stronger than the other one. It may be made out of a better metal, but if you put them side by side, the points, which, usually these break on the points. So there's not a whole lot of strength increase on the points, which I don't think they want to increase the strength of them, because they got to have a weak link somewhere. And yeah, original style, new style. So we are gonna take the crankcase cover off, which is simple enough. Hand start especially, I'm gonna get the air hose over here and blow this crap out of here. And we'll take a look in and see what she looks like. Okay, let's see if this comes right off easy. They usually do, because I usually don't glue them down. Just as easy as that. Beautiful. Wow. That's been sitting outside for a month or so, and it is stuck tight. Yep. Huh. Well, we'll have to break a loose. It's not stuck down in here, it's stuck in the cylinders. I'll tell you what happened. Tell you why it's stuck. The oil is normally on the cylinders. I heard that tink, and I'm like, and it wouldn't fire. And I thought, well, might not have been the oil pump, might have been something else. Psychologically, you just want to not believe it. So I had Carol tow me, and I had the choke on, and it fired, and I stopped and let it stall. But the choke was on and never really got it running because it didn't have oil pressure. It ran probably 10 seconds and nothing came out. I said, no. So I stalled it. And so the cylinder's being washed down with gasoline. That's what happens. So anyway, I'm gonna go get some 5/8 bolts, screw into the flywheel and get a bar. We'll see if we can get her unstuck. Yeah, let's see if we can get this broke loose with this bar. Those are in about 3/4 of an inch, so they won't break out of the casting. I've seen them that were broke out. I've never done it myself, but wow, there she goes. Boy, that was pretty stuck. Yeah, not more than I thought it was going to be. Yeah, so just caught. Yeah, pretty tight, but we'll get her. I think the thing to do is pull the plugs, and we will spray some Marble Mystery right in there and give her a crank. Bring you back after we get her moved. I'm going to move it off camera a few times. Okay, went twice with a bar, and I just tried it. So Can't crank it forever because there's no oil going anywhere, but cylinders are in good shape. Just was caught just from, like I say, it was flooded. If you flood an engine, wipes the oil out, leaves the cylinders dry, they will catch real quick. Plus we had, I think, over 12 inches of rain while this sat out there with the Christmas lights on it, which didn't help. I'm sure of it, you know. I know it's got water in it. So anyway, we're gonna drop the oil pump. So it's kind of funny. I expected to see this, see if I can lay that flashlight right there without it dropping in the oil. Pretty sure you can see that brass repair right there. That's the nut that you're looking at, that square drive, where that brass is. You can see it split. Get that before I knock it into the oil. So yeah, oil's got a little water in it, kind of milky. Needs an oil change, so we'll drain her, and then we'll drop the oil pump down. So let's see how much water comes out of the old girl. There's straight water. And you wonder why the oil pump broke. That'll probably be a good half gallon. Maybe more. Oop. How much is that? A quart and a half. Yeah, looks to me like she needed to be changed. She's a little over full probably. Should hold 2 gallons, so should hold it. There she goes. Well, I got it dropped down onto. Yeah, frigged up the gasket. Okay, I'm gonna have to pull it right out, I guess. I was hoping I wasn't gonna have to. It's no big deal either way. I was hoping that gasket was gonna stay whole. I've got others. I've put 2 long bolts in right here. I can't film it and do everything, but I'm just gonna pick it up. Yeah, oh, yeah, that was good. And I'll screw them out and then drop it out. Won't take but just a half a second. Of course, I wore half that because it's splattered, but we'll see what we can do here, getting stuff off. Yeah, right in the bucket. Of course it would. It's gonna make a mess of my floor, but just for the sake of you seeing here what's going on, this is what you end up with. Is the shaft. And that broken piece now is sitting on top of the oil pump. We'll go on up and take a look. All messy here. Yeah, let me get a rag. Well, it fell down in the side of the oil pump, so I couldn't see it, and I finally I didn't film it, so whatever. But that's what they do. This one's been repaired by somebody else. It wasn't me. I would have welded it. But I don't know if these are cast iron or if these are steel. I don't know what they are. But you can see they're pretty thin. And anyway, I'm going to put this one on. Save this one for a spare. This one here will go in the iron pile. Just because, well, we got its good out of it. So yeah, I'll clean up that oil pump gears, scrape off the bottom, and we will put it back together. Pretty amazing. I've taken the razor blade there, made sure there was no gaskets left. Yeah, she's all good and clean now. It looks like you can see marks here, but there's nothing you can feel with your fingers. It's pretty amazing. Right there you can feel a little bit, but really nowhere. Almost less than thousandths and a half, 2 thousandths. So nothing's gonna worry anybody. I just gotta scrape that off down there. Probably gonna finish this after supper. I'm gonna go on up. I don't like to wash my glasses without soap, so I'll go upstairs and do it. Just in case there's any metal or anything in them. Got a mess there when that stuff's spurted out, but yeah, we'll come down after supper. We'll get that done. I don't know if I'm gonna fire it up tonight because I'm gonna clean that crankcase out. That's right, full of sludge. I don't know why it wouldn't be. It's probably been 10 years since I've cleaned it out good. So we'll do a good cleaning with some gasoline, get her all presentable. Yeah, I got about, I don't know, half gallon of gasoline down there I've been washing. So I'm gonna drain that out. And that's gonna be it probably for this old girl as far as a rinse. See what she looks like here in a minute. Wasn't much in it, a quart or two. Try to fill it too much, it runs out the oil filter, oil pump rather. A little bit of mud in the bottom. Yeah, hang on a minute. We'll just kind of rinse that with a stream of gas. There we go. All that little dark color there is gone. Yeah, it looks good. Maybe I'll put a little better light down there. Don't know how that looks, but that ain't bad. Yeah, I think it's time to put the drain plug back in. Okay, I'm getting ready to put the oil filter in the old girl. CarQuest 85242. And they come with a gasket. And they're made identical to the original John Deere. The Napa one, which I have one, and they're good. A friend of mine borrowed one that was a Napa one, and he brought back a Napa. They actually don't have as many holes as what these do. You look at the amount of, difference there, up towards the top. I mean, there's quite a lot more oil flow on the CarQuest one or the John Deere ones. But these are excellent filters, by the way. They're nothing wrong with them. I've ran them for years, but I like the CarQuest better. But that'll go in the B or something. Who knows what'll go in. We'll just set it over there to put back in our shop, in the storage. And I'm going to change that. I'm not going to show it. I'm going to change this O-ring. And it's really not an O-ring. It's quad ring, I guess you'd call it, kind of. But anyway, square O-ring. And yeah, I just came back from disassembling this. Push down on it. Take a jackknife or your fingernail. Actually, we'll pick that right off, that wire. And once you get it off, you can disassemble all that stack. Clean up underneath it. A lot of mud will be down here trapped. Not that it will go anywhere. I mean, if it's gone there, it usually will stay there, but I like to clean it out. So I am going to go ahead and get all this stuff ready to go in. Okay, see that square drive right there? I'm touching it with the end of the screwdriver. I mean, yeah, the end of the flashlight. Go in. Yeah, wrong hand, of course. And maybe I gotta go down just a little with the crank. Oh, almost dropped it. Why wouldn't I? Yeah. I'll be back. Yeah, you can see that collar is on now. It's behind that line. And let's see there which way stuff needs to be turned. That's right about that way. It's close. It's close. It may go right up, it may not. I'll show you the bottom, what I'm doing. I've got the gasket on, and I've got the gears sitting on the plate. Oh, it may go, I don't know. Bind it up a little there. Get me one of the original length bolts. So, just in case you're curious, you don't have to put any oil on these gears. A lot of people disagree with that. Come on. But they will self-prime. Everything on this is at the lowest point, and the oil and stuff will go right to it as soon as you fill a crankcase, and before you get ready to start it, it will already have all the oil saturated on the gears. Yeah, I would say I gotta go on up, maybe turn the pump a little bit. I don't feel like it wants to go up, but we'll see here what we can do. Oh, that picked right up, beautiful. So that means if it picked up down here, it should pick up down there. Just had to turn the motor a little bit. Yeah, the last, as you can see how that shaved off, all that gasket, it was glued on, which I don't like to actually glue the oil pumps on these because you have to drop them once in a while like I did here this time. But I probably had used it more than once. So that happens. Oh, wrong way. And that's all there is to putting an oil pump drive in. I mean, I did a lot of washing and oil change at the same time, but yeah, I'm not holding this camera very straight, am I? But anyway. And if you run many John Deeres, always want to have one of these gaskets handy. They're only a few bucks, and they're worth having. Of course, you can make them, but they're a pain in the ass. Oh yeah. Drain plug, oil filter, oil pump, all tight. So, we're good down there. Yeah, so I'm going to go get me 2 gallons of oil. I've got a 55-gallon drum upstairs. It's Ursa, I think, 1540. It's not a real good diesel oil. We run Rotella in the modern tractor, but we run that other 1540 in the John Deeres. So anyway, I'll go out and get a couple gallons. Now right now with 1 gallon, there is enough oil. It's just under the tin cover. So that oil is allowed to go in. It was gurgling air there a minute ago, right down where the oil pump is. So that was gurgling into the pump. So when I put those gears up in the oil pump, they were dry. No need to have a, slather a John Deere-A or a B pump all up with oil, put it in and think you got to prime it. They will fill full of oil. That's 1 gallon. I got to go get 1 more gallon. So anyway, let's go on upstairs. This old 1540's cold. It's only about 30 in the band here. It's a little thick, but she's good for the summertime, which is when we usually use that tractor. A lot of guys like to use regular gasoline oil for gasoline engines, but you have to have so many different types to cover all your different machines. We just decided years ago that we would put 1540 in everything. Set that right over the top, keep it clean. Good to go. Back when we bought that 55-gallon drum, I think it was $440, I think, or $460. I don't remember. It was somewhere right around there. And I remember I told Carol, I said, boy, you ought to buy 4 or 5 buckets of that. I says, we'd save money in the long run. Well, it's been 20 years. We haven't used that one up yet. But it's almost empty. There's probably only 5 gallons in the bottom of it. And but you know, if a guy would have invested in 100 of those drums, it would have been a better investment than the stock market. You know, there's 2 things that I figured out 100% it's a fallacy in this world. Number 1 is the stock market, because when it goes down 50%, then to get your 50% back, it's got to go up 100%. So you do the numbers and you never ever get ahead, because it's always going down and up. And anytime it goes down 5%, it's got to come up 10%. You know, I mean, it's a fallacy the way it works. And people have the money in there for years and years and years. And companies are making money off it, but you don't make a hell of a lot. And the other thing is heat pumps in a house. Especially hot water heaters, because they're inside. Absolutely a fallacy. It cools our basement off 10 degrees, running a heat pump down, and then you got to heat the basement up. So what the hell have you gained? You're better off just to plug it into electric and heat it, and not be cooling anything down. It's quite a well, you know, somebody's trying to sell a product. Everybody's got the heat pump craze. But anyway, I'm going to get off that subject before I get pissed off. I'm going to put this cover on next. I just turned the engine over a little. I wanted you to see, you can't even see the oil pump anymore. That's completely under the oil. About an inch under. And yeah, that definitely doesn't need to be primed, guys. Just in case you're wondering. I know I'll get comments probably. Somebody will say, man, you got to put oil on them gears. They're already soaked in oil right now. The shaft that goes down in's got oil over the top of it. It's creeping down through because there's 3/4 thousandths clearance there. Just like oil in something with an oil can, you know, I mean, the oil will go. Everything's lubricated. So anyway, I'm going to take care of that off camera. I'm going to dump it out. I'm sure it is right full of crap. Actually, it might be interesting just to see how bad it is. So I bet this is right full of water. We'll get our drain bucket over here. We had, I think, over 10 inches of water while this sat out there with lights on it. And I had the exhaust covered with a plastic bag, but I did not have the intake covered. So I'm sure this is probably right saturated with water. Well, it ain't as bad as I thought it would be. Yeah. It was probably 50-50. So, not very dirty though. Get that off so you can see. You know, there's no mud in the bottom of it. It was good clean oil, which it should have been because I changed the oil not too long ago. But they get water in them, and that's the problem with the John Deere. This is an important step a lot of people miss. You got to pour a couple ounces of oil down through this, because this is all you have for crankcase filter. Make sure I've rinsed this out good in diesel fuel. But I'm just going to make sure that I put enough on it so it saturates the whole thing. You don't worry about whether or not it puts an extra 2 ounces in your oil crankcase, you know. Just enough. Beautiful. So this crankcase is all closed up on the old girl. Before we go and try to start this, not bad gas. Good. Think we can start it, or try to. I don't have much battery left. All my batteries from my GoPro are getting old. They're like 2 or 3 years old. Let's put some fuel on, just see what the heck happens. Probably oughta. Oh, no. Guess I gotta tighten up my packing on that a little bit. Let's see what happens here. A little choke. That's neutral. Wow. Both cylinders, I still got a stiff one. It's getting better all the time. Huh. Well. Probably didn't get gas enough, but I don't know either. I'm gonna have to choke it a little more. Minutes, loosen up stuff. I've got the shutters mostly shut off. Good. I'm just trying to warm it out. It ain't been warmed up in a long time. It's been about 15 minutes. And for those of you who don't keep your shutters working, it's worth it. I do have to oil these a little bit by the sounds. But Now they're wide open, or pretty close to it. So anyway, she runs good. I'm gonna put a little bit of lube on the front of the fan shaft. That's got a grease fitting in it. And I'm gonna grease the axles. I'm gonna put some oil on the brakes. Everything's straightforward that I gotta do now. Not even gonna video it. But I will say one thing. These little oil cups right here, if you take these brakes off and wash them all up, there's no oil hole to get to the center of that bushing. That's a sintered bronze bushing. It's porous. There is a channel that is machined in the main housing around the back side of that bushing. So you just push the flat bushing in. Don't worry about anything lubing it. You can put a little on the shaft if you want when you put it together, but it makes no difference. Just make sure that that cavity is full of oil, 30 weight or whatever, and it will wick through very slowly. It's kind of like a time release. That's the only thing that some people don't know. Everything else on these is pretty much straightforward. So I'm going to go grab a grease gun and get some greasing done. Probably shut my door back down since it's only 30 out. But yeah, she runs good. Pretty happy with that, considering how frigged up it was. Well, remember how that was real stiff? That's how they should be. So she just needed to run, loosen herself up. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Hope everybody out there is keeping safe. Don't hesitate to hit the like button and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.